Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Joseph. I'm excited about this video because I'm getting to do two things. First, I'm going to be launching my Capture One styles, where I've been hiding from you guys. I didn't make you guys know I was working on it, but I've made it for dark skin tones. I'll show you like a quick demo, but when you purchase it, there's going to be a dedicated video showing you guys how to use it. And also I'm going to be talking about this new photo box that I got from Fotoplays. But before that, let's jump onto my screen. Let me show you this brand new Capture One styles and show you how it works quickly, and then we'll move on to the behind the scenes video. All right, starting off, these are some of the images that I got from today's shoot that you're about to see. You can see these are like just a little variety that I have marked out, and I just want to start with this image, for example, right? So if I go into my styles, I'll show you how to install these styles in the tutorial video that's going to come with your purchase. But for now, if I just do a quick run through, you can see that I have dark tone cinema, desat, natural punch low, natural punch, and then dark tone. You can see this just gives like a really nice punch to it. But the good thing is all these styles are adjustable. So we're going to start off with a dark tone desat. You can see it's giving the skin like this rich dark tone. I really love the colors, but if you're someone who wants to maintain the greens in the plants, for example, you still have access to it. You can go back and adjust it. So I'm going to go into my quick tab, and over here I'm just going to look for the color editor, and I'm going to look out for green because obviously the color that we are looking to adjust is green, and I'm just going to bring the saturation back up. So that's the thing about presets, styles in this case, or LUTs don't give you as much control because they are set in stone. Basically, you only have opacity to adjust, but with styles and presets, you can go into the system and adjust them to suit your images. Always, I say that these things are not 100% guaranteed to work on your images. It's just supposed to take you there about 80%, and now the other 20 is just up to you to fine tune to suit your images. So even with this image, for example, this is like a style I created a while back, and it's still working well with this image, and I only just came back to adjust the saturation of the green, and it's giving me a beautiful looking image. I can also decide to go into high dynamic range, for example, and maybe just open up the shadows a little bit, and then also maybe just bring the highlights back up a little bit because I want it to be a little bit more punchy in the highlights. Maybe even go into exposure and just bring up the exposure as well, reduce the contrast in there, and maybe just actually let me just darken the shadows a little bit. So even though I had like this predetermined style applied, I still went in there and then made my own adjustments. Now let me just go on to another image that I shot. This is also a behind the scenes that I'm working on, so stay tuned for this video. So subscribe if you haven't, so you don't miss out when I show this behind the scenes video. But let's just quickly go into our styles and let's look for natural punch. Yeah, let's just go with natural punch, for example. So if I start with that and I like the feel of it, I like everything, if I just do it before and after, you see that initially it was a little bit moody, but this is just bringing out some of the richness in the darker areas of the image. And I really just want to maintain that dark tone in his skin, right? Because already it's looking a little bit open, and I just want to darken those colors a little bit more. So what I'll do is I'll go back into my quick edit. I'll come back into color editor, and let's just say I want to darken the orange a little bit. I'm just gonna do that, and I also want to reduce the lightness just a tiny bit. I'll go into reds and I'll do the same thing, just pull it down and also pull down the lightness of the red, and I'll just go back into my exposure and I'll just bring the saturation down just like that. You can see that's giving me a very nice tone. So here's before, here's after, before, after. If you want to bring some darkness back into the hair, maybe you can just decide to bring your shadows down just a little bit, and also make your blacks even darker. Here's a before, here's an after, before, after. So that's it for these Capture One styles. Just go onto the description box. It's available today. You can copy it and support the channel as well.
Yeah, I've been just picking on pieces of you. Think about how can I keep you? I've been just picking on pieces of you. Think about how can I keep you? 헤어지자고 아침부터 you've been going through my phone. 말해봐 내가 바보인 줄 알아, not alone. Yeah, you and I 날아가 'cause we're flying for my brothers. 바보야, I got problems popping bottles.
Alright, so just in case you missed out on the video where I'm pulling this inspiration from, I'm gonna leave it in the card, or you can like just tap and watch it after you're done watching this one. But when I was shooting that one, I shot it in high speed sync. I used a 120cm softbox. I also shot with 2 lights, added a reflector to bouncing light, and overall just created like a soft feel for that image. And I feel like this image in particular, I wanted to do away with all those technicalities, use a simple lighting setup, still create like a lot of depth. And the way I did that was by using just 1 light and the slightly smaller modifier. Even though the size of that modifier is small, I mean relatively small when compared to the 120cm softbox that I used in my previous video, this still gave me enough illumination from top to bottom, which is exactly where I wanted the light to be. So I feel like this 85cm softbox is perfect if you're shooting like 3/4 body shots. The 120 obviously will give you a bigger spread if you're shooting from top to bottom, but because I knew that my crop was just going to be from top all the way to just slightly above her knee, I knew that this 85cm softbox will give me a perfect illumination for that. I also knew that it's going to give me like very contrasty shadows when compared to the 120 obviously, and I even wanted more contrast or more depth in this image, and so I added a V flat, and I used the black side of that. In the previous video I used a reflector in addition to the second light just to bounce light and open up the shadows, but in this case I was doing the total opposite. I wanted more drama in the image, and this setup is what gave me that perfect execution. Oh, that's perfect. Beautiful. Yeah, and then your face that way. Perfect. Ooh, chin up. Yes. So my usual light positioning, I had the main light at 45-degree angle, camera right, aimed down at my subject, and I had the V flat on the opposite side of the light source, so it prevents any light from spilling and coming back to light up the shadows. I wanted to absorb the light, and I also wanted to, just darken the shadows even more. I think later on I flipped to the white side just to see what kind of difference I will get, and it was really dramatic. I'll show you some images right here. This currently is the image of the V flat using the black side, and this is the image of the V flat using the white side. So you can see that there is some difference where the white obviously is bouncing some light back and opening up the shadows, and there is a difference in the one that is I'm using the black side to absorb and rather bounce like more dark tones into the shadows and making it more contrasty. The last thing is going to be the fake dress that she's wearing. It's just fabric that we had draped over her body, and we had it draped down, and then it created like a dress, and then it also draped to the other side where Kwame was holding the fabric, so we get like a nice shape with it. But later on we also dropped the fabric down. We made her hold it, I think, in the beginning, so we have a little bit more of an illusion of a very long dress, and then later on we just clipped it behind her and then created like a fitted dress. I also added sprinkles of water into the fabric so it sticks onto her skin, and then just add more interest to the image. And then lastly, we also gave her some accessories, and I think in the beginning we gave her some props and stuff to hold just to add a bit of color contrast or pop in the image. So this is pretty much everything that happened during this shoot. Yes, and also I have these brand new Capture One styles available, giving you guys full power and control over your dark skin tones. Make sure that your exposure is correct. Make sure you don't overexpose or underexpose, but then again you still have control over your exposure since the raw processing software. But just try and then get your exposure right. I'm always saying that expose the way you imagine your images to be. Just get it right in camera, and when you're applying these styles, all you need to do is just add your 20% tweak to it, and it's going to give you amazing results. I'll catch you guys in the next one.